Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Michael Anand.
I'm meteorologist Jay Karstens. We're here on Friday, October 13th, and our producer for the day, Margaret, welcomed us in with the following quote: "How did a 70-degree dew point become dry air?" And I think that really tells the story of what we're going to be talking about a lot today, as conditions are starting to get a little bit more fall-like, slowly but very surely.
Yeah, compared to a Monday, like I remember Monday afternoon walking to class, basically I was walking through water.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, we hit 90 degrees, or just about 90 degrees, really across the entire Big Bend area today. But as we'll be outlining later on in the show, you're going to start to see those temperatures slowly begin to cool down, with that rain chances gradually picking up. But better conditions are going to be on the way next week for plenty of cool events going to be happening here on the Florida State campus.
Yeah, and again, we're going to be talking about that cold front arriving on Tuesday, finally giving us the fall weather we deserve in Tallahassee.
Yeah, but for now, we're going to send it out over to Dylan, who's at the wall with a quick overview of what's to come for tonight's show.
Thank you very much, Jake. Looking around the region, even though those dew points were very low, you're going to see high temperatures for us here. 89 degrees. We actually got up to 90, which was the record for today. But Thomasville also seeing 90 degrees. Valdosta 87, so very warm for a lot of the region. Though the cool point right now is Apalachicola on the coast with those winds coming out of the east. Satellite radar not showing much. You can see some showers up in Georgia, but nothing for our general viewing area, so things were looking very good for us here. Tonight, though, looking like a decent night, slightly cooler than it was yesterday, but still going to be feeling a little muggy. Those dew points are going to pick up a little bit as we go into the night. Winds out of the east-northeast at 5 miles per hour. And for your weather headlines, we're going to see another hot weekend ahead. Those temperatures are going to stick around, but it is going to be slightly drier, though. So with those higher temperatures, you're still going to feel hot. We're going to see some not muggy-like feeling. It's going to still kind of feel like summer, but not a very dew-pointy summer. And for the fall, for the week ahead, though, fall is coming to visit around Tuesday, so things are looking very good for us there. Right now, I'm going to send it back to the desk with Michael and Jake.
Thanks, Dylan. This northerner really loves seeing that last weather headline, and just in time for, as I alluded to, some pretty cool events happening on campus. Starting off tonight, the Jam with Coach Ham, which is actually going to be taking place right after our 6 p.m. show. So for those of you tuning into our 11 o'clock rerun, just be aware that this will already have passed. This is basically the basketball preview party here, taking place at Tully Gymnasium. Again, at 7 o'clock. You're going to be seeing plenty, including a dunk contest, three-point contest, and really get a chance to see your men's basketball team as they prep for the season after an NCAA tournament appearance.
Yeah, and other news happening around campus, we're going to have a laptop scavenger hunt, which continues through Wednesday. It's sponsored by the ITS, Information Technology Services, and as part of the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And so basically it's like a scavenger hunt where laptops are scattered around campus.
Yeah, 25 of them. I actually found one of them over by Dirac Library yesterday. I'm not going to tell you exactly where because we don't want to spoil anything. But lastly, before we head off to our first local forecast, the FSU Flying High Circus is going to be getting back in action starting next week. The Halloween show series that they do every year. First show is going to be Thursday night, October 19th. You're going to be seeing 4 of those shows occurring on campus just before Halloween around here.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Flying Circus, but I have to go one of these days to finally see what they're all about.
It's a great time. Been to both the Halloween and the spring show in the past. For now, we're going to go out to Tyler with a more detailed local forecast.
Hi, thank you, Jake and Michael. We're going to talk about how warm it was today, and boy, was it warm. It was 90 degrees for a high temperature in Tallahassee, which was a record high. The average is about 8 degrees colder than that, and that represents actually every day this week we've had a record-breaking minimum temperature in the morning or a maximum temperature in the afternoon. It was a little bit cooler this morning with a lower dew point. You'll see that in a second, but still 10 degrees above the average of 58 degrees. That's a 30-year average. Across the entire region, it's still very warm, but temperatures have come off of the high temperatures for the day, and that's because we're seeing a little bit less of solar radiation as we head towards sunset. It's a little bit cooler on the coast, but not as cold as you might expect because we do have an offshore wind. That's contributing to these lower dew points, which are mainly in the 50s and 60s inland. However, we did have a little bit of a sea breeze come on in Franklin County. That is why we are seeing dew points in the 70s there. And even though it's 90 degrees, it doesn't feel as miserable as it did earlier this week, where we did have a dew point of 80 degrees in Apalachicola. That does classify as miserable on the scale, but because of that offshore wind, we have a comfortable to mainly moderate dew point across most of North Florida and South Georgia, and that's, again, good news because I did not like sweating on the way to class. Current winds does show an easterly wind, and what that normally does for us is because we're a little bit further away from the water, if the water comes from the Atlantic, the air has a longer time to dry out over land, and that's why we do have those lower dew points. But for tonight, because of how dry it is, we do have a cooler night, but still that's about 5 degrees above the average. 67 degrees with a light wind. It'll still feel muggy, but at least it'll be comfortable if you're going out tonight. Tomorrow, it will still be hot, around 90 degrees, so near another record high. But the winds will be calm, so you won't have the relief that you'll see earlier this week when we had a breeze or two, making it feel more comfortable. Let's take a look at this 5-day forecast. Very warm for this weekend, but the banner news comes in Monday and Tuesday with a slight chance of rain due to a cold front. Temperatures will drop about 10 degrees behind the front with a low, I can't believe I'm saying that, 58 degrees is right around our average, but it's going to feel great compared to where we've been lately. Now let's send it back over to Michael with a look across the southeast.
Thanks, Tyler. So the southeast for the next few days it's going to be pretty quiet over the weekend. But as Tyler alluded to earlier, we do have a cold front and a significant cold front coming our way for next week. Currently across the region, overall we're in the 80s. The hottest spot is Montgomery at 91 degrees. And 24-hour temperature change because of that earlier cold front moving through the region earlier this week. Our temperatures are higher in the western part of the southeast. A little cooler in South Carolina. Tallahassee is 1 degree cooler than yesterday. And overall temperature change is not too drastic. Satellite and radar pretty clear across the southeast because of that front from earlier this week moving through most of the region, except for Central and South Florida. And you can see they are picking up some showers and thunderstorms down there. And now tomorrow, FSU is going to play Duke on the road. This is actually our weather stem camera from NC State. We couldn't find one at Duke. But in terms of the weather at Duke, pretty good. 75 degrees, cloudy skies. For those going for tailgating or to the game, you're not going to be at least baking in the stadium. Tonight's forecast, 67 degrees in Little Rock, 63 in Tupelo. Overall, we're going to be in the low 60s or middle 60s, except for New Orleans, Orlando, Miami, and Key West in the 70s. For tomorrow, hotter out west. Little Rock is going to be at 90 degrees. Shreveport is at 93. New Orleans at 90. And as I said, that stall front is going to give some showers and thunderstorms to Orlando, Miami, and Key West. And we're going to send it back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Michael. Yeah, we're going to turn our attention to the fires in California.
Yeah, before Dylan gets our national forecast going, we have a little bit more somber news to report, unfortunately, out of Northern California, where now 32 people have been killed associated with this pretty massive wildfires occurring really spreading across a big chunk of the state.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the people there. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the people in California affected by this fire.
Yeah, the primary 3 counties that have been affected are Napa, Solano, and Sonoma counties. And some of these fires are tens of thousands of acres now, and containment is making progress. We cannot say enough to the efforts of firefighters and emergency management officials out in California that have been working tirelessly to put these fires out. As you can see with a little bit of the progress here, the Atlas fire, which is in Sonoma County, was 3% contained yesterday, now up to 27%. So still a very long way to go, but progress is surely being made.
Definitely. It's good that the firefighters are really trying their best to save those people there, and we're glad that they're working their hardest during this time of need, so things are looking good.
And when it comes to these fires, we're not just concerned necessarily about the fires themselves, but the smoke that comes out from them and the way that it can get spread really across a large region.
Yeah. I mean, people with asthma conditions and breathing problems are definitely affected by these fires, even though they're not close to them. The wind blowing the fires large distances are really affecting those people as well.
Yeah, so we've had some air quality concerns in rather large metros, including San Francisco, and today we've actually been seeing some video coming out of Disneyland down in Anaheim, Southern California, beginning to get some of the smoke from these fires that originated hundreds of miles to the north.
Yeah, I actually saw a picture on Twitter the other day of Disney World. It had this orange tint like Halloween. Very eerie feeling for those folks down there. It's very scary.
Yeah, so for now, Dylan, you have our more expanded national forecast.
Thank you very much, Jake. Now I'm going to take it out to the national. Looking around the region, you can kind of see where that front that's coming to us in Tallahassee is right now. You can see 91 degrees in Dallas, but behind that, 65 degrees in Denver. So things are looking to be nice for us. You can see the cloud cover out of that 88 degrees for us here in Tallahassee. With a cool spot, Seattle at 52 degrees, feeling much cooler there. But as we turn our attention to the satellite radar, you can kind of see where that front is situated. The cloud cover there, but there was a stalled out front over in Florida that is kind of dissipated by now. Behind that front is a giant area of high pressure, which is making its presence felt here and really keeping things nice and less wet or less moist than they were before. So things are looking nice. But you can see that area of low pressure over in Seattle. So looking at tomorrow for the severe weather outlook, you're going to see parts of Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Iowa are going to be in this slight risk for severe weather. So that's category 2 out of 5. So they're going to see some problems there. But again, much of that region too is in that marginal risk. So they're going to see some severe weather there. Make sure you keep updated with your local forecasters if you're in the area. Same with Oklahoma too. They're going to be in that marginal risk. So keep updated. Moving into our watches and warnings, you're going to see behind that front, sorry to mention that all those severe weather is going to be associated with this front moving its way east. But behind that front, we're going to see some freeze warnings over in Colorado and Kansas. And same in Colorado, we have some red flag warnings with that drier air. But all the way up in Seattle, they have some freeze and frost advisories and watches with them. So for those people there, watch out. And on the East Coast, they're going to have some small craft advisories for those people going boating on that side of the country. Zooming into the northwest, you're going to see in Washington, Idaho, and Oregon, they're going to see a lot of these winter-like conditions. You're going to see a lot of snow for those people there, feeling like winter for them. Not here. We're going to feel like summer still, but things are going to improve as this front starts to make its way east. Behind that front, you're going to see 33 degrees in Billings as their temperature. It's trying to break 32 degrees. That's the freezing point. But for us, in front of that front, we're going to see 67 degrees, kind of cooler for us here. But in New Orleans, they're going to see 74 degrees as their temperature. Dallas, 72 degrees. Salt Lake City at 43. We're moving into tomorrow's forecast. You're going to see some rain down in Miami. Memphis seeing sunshines at 89 degrees. Kansas City seeing that rain with that severe weather moving its way east. But behind that, Denver, 57 degrees. Salt Lake City, 54, and Billings at 51. But now, hand it over to Michael for a local look.
Yeah, so, here's one more look at our local. So, currently, let's take a look at satellite and radar, actually. Clear across our region. That front is actually situated in central Florida. So we have been getting that drier air in today with the east wind. Current winds, as I was saying, we have this east wind of 9 miles per hour in Tallahassee, 13 in Albany, 7 in Valdosta. And watches and warnings, we still have these river flood warnings down in central Florida due to Irma from earlier this year. Tonight's forecast, 67 degrees in Tallahassee, 69 in Monticello, 68 in Thomasville. It's going to be warm for these next few days until that front on Tuesday finally arrives in our region. Tomorrow's forecast, 90 degrees in Tallahassee, 88 in Quincy, 88 in Bainbridge. Another warm day. Won't be surprised if we break another record like Tyler alluded to today. And the week ahead is showing Saturday and Sunday are going to be considered pretty hot days for this time of year. Monday, again, that cold front will arrive. 88 degrees on Monday. Look at Tuesday, 79 on Tuesday and 80 on Wednesday. We'll finally get some fall weather in Tallahassee. So let me bring you back to the desk with Dylan.
Yeah, Michael, we're going to talk about something we don't usually talk about. Cities in different countries that have very similar climates.
Yes.
So the first city that has a very similar climate to another city in another country is Perth, Australia, located in the southern hemisphere, and Tijuana, Mexico. They are 93,000 miles apart. Yeah.
Yeah, next example, New York City and Buenos Aires. They're 5,304 miles apart. And in terms of their climate, they both have hot and humid summers.
Yeah, that's really. I've been to Buenos Aires and I've been to New York, and it doesn't feel like I went in winter and summer for both of them, and they kind of feel similar. So like it's interesting to see that countries across the hemisphere feeling like similar climates, though.
Yes.
The next one being LA and Santiago, Chile. Again, both in different hemispheres, feeling quite different.
Yep.
LA has a warm, dry summer, and so does Santiago. So those are.
Yeah, and you can really tell that with all the wildfires happening in California, that's not really surprising.
Yeah.
Their dry season actually happens in the late spring, throughout summer, and early fall.
Right, definitely. The strangest one on this list, though, is Bahamas and Madari, India. Those are one's a Caribbean, one doesn't feel like it would be the same.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Madari, India is actually south of Bangalore, India. Bangalore, India was where my parents actually grew up. And they have tropical savannas and they have dry winters. I can tell you about India that India is really, they get the monsoon, but before the monsoon, it is really hot there, especially with the lack of air conditioning.
Definitely. I mean, in the Bahamas, it's very hot there for them, too, in the summer. So those being very similar is really crazy. The last one being Toronto and Moscow. That's kind of expected. Moscow and Toronto both seeing very cold winters and very snowy winters with them.
Yes.
But right now, we're going to send it back over to the wall with Tyler to look at our tropics.
We're covering the entire northern hemisphere today on FSU Weather, and that includes the northern Atlantic Ocean, which we're going to be doing a tropical update on in this segment, primarily because of Hurricane Ophelia, now a Category 2, located way east in the Atlantic by the Azore Islands. If you remember, this season has been extremely active. Ever since Tropical Storm Emily on August 1st, we had seen 10 consecutive hurricanes. That has not happened since 1883 and ties the all-time record set back then for the amount of consecutive hurricanes. So if Philippe becomes a hurricane later on during the season, we will have an all-time record. All of these are very high accumulated cyclone energy producers, or ACE, and that basically measures the quality of storm over the quantity of storm. We're actually top 5 active hurricane season when you take that into account. In October, we generally see the eastern Atlantic sort of shut down. In the western Atlantic, we do have a conveyor belt of storms coming up from the Caribbean, and then they generally get steered off towards the north and east because of cold fronts like the one we're going to have Monday and Tuesday. However, this season has been nothing like climatology, and you can see that with Hurricane Ophelia located southwest of the Azore Islands right here, and it's going to be going up to near Portugal, passing west of Portugal and up towards Ireland. They had never seen a hurricane in the last 130 years, and likely this will become extratropical before it reaches there, but still will be a very stormy weekend for them. We do have an upper level ridge of high pressure dominating and sinking air over the Florida Peninsula. That's why it's so warm. We do have a trough of low pressure sparking some thunderstorms over the Caribbean Sea and far South Florida. And we do have this area which will move up towards Bermuda and likely will become Felipe as we head into next week. There's actually a 30% chance that's likely going to go up based on recent model runs. Now let's send it off to Margaret at the lab.
I'll have a clicker from you.
So what am I doing? What am I doing? No one's at the desk.
That's great.
What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing?
74 and 92, 2009 and 2016, or 1933 and 1941. And thank you to everyone who participated in our Twitter poll. The answer now that we're revealing is that it was answer choice D, 1933 and 1941, and that was October 1st and October 9th. So thank you to everyone who voted in the Twitter poll and participated in our trivia challenge. We'll be back next week on Thursday with a new question and a new answer on Friday next week, but now I'm going to send it out to Jake at the wall.
Thanks a lot, Margaret. Kind of the variety hour here around the state of Florida in terms of the rainfall and temperature distribution. Starting off with the current conditions, you see Fort Myers being the real outlier right now, 76 degrees with some rainfall, so cooling things down just a little bit, although you'll still see those dew points right there in the 70s. Quick shout out to Tyler, of course. 84 in Jacksonville, 88 right here in Tallahassee. So the northern part of the state really being the warm spot, which is, of course, a little bit different than expectation. We talked satellite and radar. A lot of this rain falls in the southern two-thirds of the state, and that is why we see that big temperature difference here, even though it may not be raining instantaneously at one exact point. The panhandle is really dry. That high pressure over the southeast really making its presence felt and contributing to a warm and sunny day from Pensacola all the way over to Jacksonville. You see that reflected as well in the upper level water vapor, a nice dry air pocket leaking up into northeastern Florida in particular. Not really too much to support these sorts of big-time convection across the panhandle, although we'll see still some scattered showers and even a couple of rumbles of thunder down south. Let's talk current dew points here, and again, these are still really, really high, although the northern part of the state once again beginning to get a bit drier. 75-degree dew point in Tampa, 76 down in West Palm Beach right now. And North Florida, again, some of these 60s you're starting to see here. Tallahassee at 63, which is extremely low and a big outlier compared to the rest of the state. Here's the current heat index, still feeling really warm, and again, this reflects where that rain is currently falling. Fort Myers at 81, Tampa at 89, and again, with a little bit less surface humidity up here in North Florida, you start to see these heat index values getting just a little bit lower now, towards that 90-degree point. No more of those triple digits is something I'm very thankful to say up here as a South Floridian who's kind of sick and tired of it, to be perfectly honest. The current winds largely out of the east here, 13 miles per hour in West Palm Beach, again, coming off of the ocean, so helping to moderate those temperatures just a little bit. They're used to it down south. Easterly pretty much anywhere you look, and it's a little on the breezy side today with the combination of that stalled out front over northern Florida, as well as that high pressure just off to the north and west, contributing to this big, what we call a pressure gradient here that helps to kick up the winds just a little bit. We look at tonight's forecast, still really warm down south, nothing out of the ordinary here. 78 degrees in Miami, 78 as well in West Palm Beach, and cooler in northern Florida, 68 in Jacksonville, 67 right here in Tallahassee. We look at tomorrow's forecast, and still very rainy across the entire southern two-thirds of the state, really from the I-75 Turnpike exchange downwards here. 88 in Orlando with some showers, and you're going to see this continued slight lowering of the temperatures, high temperature-wise at least. Pensacola, very, very warm and very sunny at 86 degrees for your daytime high. So for now, we're going to go to Dylan to close things out with our final local.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. We're looking around Tallahassee. Current conditions for us here, 88 degrees. You can see that dew point is much less than it was, 63 degrees. That humidity only seeing 43%, so things are looking much better for us here than it was yesterday, though the temperatures around the region are still warm. You can see 88 for us here, 86 for Quincy, 88 for Bainbridge, Wilma and Mariana being the hot spots, same with St. Mark's at 89 degrees. So very warm still around the region, even though those dew points are much less than they were yesterday. Current dew points, 63 in Tallahassee, as I said before, 68 in Bainbridge, but you can see the higher dew points again on the coast in Carabel and Apalachicola at 70 due to those easterly winds because of that area of high pressure sitting over much of the southeast of the U.S., really driving those winds out of the east for us down south and bring on that offshore moisture for them. But you can see the coolest dew point right now, 57 in Valdosta. So things are looking good for folks over there. Here's the 24-hour dew point temperature change. 10-degree drop in dew point temperature from yesterday, 12 in Quincy, 11 in Mariana. So things are feeling less moist than they were yesterday. But again, it is still hot outside. That sun is beating down and bringing a lot of warm temperatures for a lot of the people around in Tallahassee. Tonight's forecast, though, seeing a cooler night, slightly cooler, not much drastic than it was, that it will be later this week. I'm peeking at that 7-day forecast. You can see 67 degrees in Tallahassee, warmer again on the coast in Carabel and Apalachicola at 71 respectively. 68 degrees in Thomasville and 68 in Perry. So things are looking slightly cooler for them. Tomorrow's forecast, another warm day. It's going to be very sunny. Not a lot of wind to cool us down there for sure. We're going to see 90 degrees for Tallahassee, 86 for Monticello, 88 for Valdosta. Though on the coast, you're going to see cooler temperatures. If you're going out to the beach this weekend, on Saturday, you're going to see cool temperatures at 85 and 86. So for your beach going experience, things might be much better than it is here. Again, with that water and that sea breeze, really cooling things down for the folks over on the beach. The week ahead, though, we have football tomorrow. If you're going to watch the Duke game tomorrow, 90 degrees on your way out as the high. On Sunday, we're going to see kind of a repeat of Saturday, seeing 89 degrees, not a lot of cloud cover. As we start our work week, Monday, seeing 30% chance of rains ahead of this front. And look at this, 88 on Monday as our high, 79 on Tuesday. That front making its way through Monday night and Tuesday morning and really cooling things off. You're going to even see 58 degrees on Wednesday as our low temperature for them. So things are looking generally more attractive, more fall-like for us here in Tallahassee. But as we get into the rest of the week, cloud cover kind of dissipates and you're going to see a decent week, only seeing 83 degrees as our high.
I am looking forward to those cooler high temperatures much.
I am too. I want to wear a sweater.
Same here. I've bought a bunch of sweaters on clearance the last couple of years, and with winter not being that cold last year, I didn't get to wear them as much as I really wanted to.
Did you have 8 a.m. classes last year?
I did have one last spring. It was the weather analysis and forecasting class, so it was worth getting up for that class because it was a fun class.
Yeah, it was nice. I remember waking up and having to wear a heavy jacket in the morning sometimes. Just in the morning, though.
Only in the morning, and then by the time it gets to lunchtime, you're like, why did I wear a sweater?
Yeah, you're sweating off, but look at that 7-day again. Things are looking much beautiful after this weekend and early next week.
I am looking forward to seeing the temperatures Wednesday and Thursday, those lows getting all the way down into the 50s.
Yeah, and the high not staying above 55. That is beautiful, as I can say.
I'm looking forward to actually seeing some more fall-like temperatures over the next couple of weeks, and maybe even some wintry temperatures as we get in towards winter.
Yeah, but hey, if you want to follow us, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
And follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/FSU Weather. We post on both of those social media pages with our social media video updates and the Thursday Twitter question.
And the Thursday Twitter question, check out next week on Thursday to have your question answered, or the question posted, and Friday, your show, to see it answered on show. We also broadcast on FSU Weather on YouTube.
YouTube Live, we're broadcasting there. Just search us up, FSU Weather. For this Friday the 13th, I'm student meteorologist Margaret Hollis.
I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith. Have a good night.